Welcome to Duo Reads, where we decode deep ideas and break down big books one page at a time.
Mhm.
Today, we're diving into David Allen's, incredibly influential work, Getting Things Done. You probably know it as GTD.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just, another time management book.
Mm-hmm.
Its true genius, I think, lies in this really radical idea, your mind. It's for having ideas, not for holding on to them.
Exactly.
We're going to unpack how offloading that mental burden, all that stuff rattling around, can actually transform your productivity and, maybe more importantly, your peace of mind.
That's right. Allen's approach is, deeply rooted in that core philosophy, but it's also incredibly practical, very down to earth.
Okay.
He brings a new clarity to things like the power of purpose and how essential relaxation really is. And he offers these deceptively simple guidelines that, when you actually apply them, they help you feel more relaxed and get way more done, but with less effort.
Accomplish more with less effort. That sounds like the dream.
It really is about achieving clarity and purpose and, genuine relaxation, even when everything feels chaotic.
Okay. That's a powerful distinction. So if our minds aren't meant to be these, glorified to-do lists,
Right.
what's so unique about Allen's approach compared to, all the other productivity advice floating around? What's wrong with how we normally try to manage things?
Well, what's fascinating, I think, is how Allen immediately points to the sheer volume and also the ambiguity of modern work.
Ambiguity.
Think about it, right? Your job, my job. It's dozens, maybe hundreds of emails a day, constant shifts in priority. You can't really ignore anything.
Feels like drinking from a fire hose sometimes.
Totally. And he points out that our minds are just not designed to be storage devices for all these open loops.
Open loops.
Yeah, open loops.
Yeah.
Basically, any commitment or thought that hasn't been, fully resolved or dealt with.
Oh, okay.
And every single one of those, big or small, takes up precious mental RAM, just like an overloaded computer.
Oh, that mental RAM idea really hits home. I've definitely felt that drain,
Yeah.
that constant background hum of unfinished tasks.
Right.
My conscious mind feels like it's juggling, like a dozen things, even though I know I can only really focus on one or two things properly.
Yeah. Allen even quotes a Captain J.A. who put it really well. He said something like, "The art of resting the mind and the power of dismissing from it all care and worry is probably one of the secrets of our great men."
Dismissing worry. Easier said than done.
Well, yeah, but the point is your conscious mind, like that computer screen, it's a focusing tool. It's not a storage place. But all those incomplete things, they're still buzzing around in your short-term memory, constantly pulling at your attention.
Okay, so our minds are bursting at the seams. We're distracted, overwhelmed. What does Allen actually suggest we do about all this stuff, as he calls it, that's rattling around in there? What even is stuff?
Good question. He defines stuff pretty specifically. It's anything you have allowed into your psychological or physical world that doesn't belong where it is, but for which you haven't yet determined the desired outcome and the next action step.
Okay, that's quite a definition.
It is, but it's precise. He says most people's to-do lists are just these amorphous blobs of undoability, basically unprocessed stuff.
Amorphous blobs of undoability. I like that. Describes my garage perfectly sometimes.
Right. It's this vague, undefined mess. And the key reason something stays on your mind, he argues, is because you haven't actually clarified the outcome you want, or decided the very next physical action, or put a reminder into a system you trust.
A trusted system. That sounds important.
Crucial. He uses this great analogy. If your management of that level, meaning your in-basket, your inputs, is not as efficient as it could be, it's like trying to swim in baggy clothing.
Yeah, you're just dragging yourself down.
Exactly. And he really emphasizes things rarely get stuck because of lack of time. They get stuck because the doing of them has not been defined.
Wow. Okay. That really hits home. It's not that I don't have the time. It's that I look at a task and I just freeze because I don't know the very first step.
Precisely.
So if our minds aren't for storage and we need to define things, how does Allen suggest we manage all this stuff practically? He breaks it down into 5 stages, right? Collect, process, organize, review, and do.
Yep, those are the 5 stages of workflow mastery.
Let's start with collect. He says it has to be 100% comprehensive. That sounds daunting.
It does, but the first rule is deceptively simple.
Yeah.
Get it all out of your head.
Okay.
And that means capturing literally everything. Personal, professional, big project, tiny little thought that pops into your head. Capture it all into external collection buckets.
Box buckets, like what it...
Could be anything you trust, you'll check regularly. Physical in trays for paper, digital notes apps, maybe a voice recorder. Your email inbox definitely counts.
So multiple buckets are okay.
Oh, yeah. As long as you know where they are and you empty them regularly. The main point in this phase is just get everything into those endpoints fast. Don't stop to make decisions yet.
Just capture.
Just capture. And for the initial big sweep, he suggests doing a mind sweep. You sit down, maybe use his incompletion triggers list for prompts, and write down every single thing that has your attention, each one on a separate piece of paper or note. Externalize everything.
Okay. So we've done the mind sweep, maybe over a weekend. We've got piles of notes, emails flagged. Everything's in our buckets. Now what? Step 2 is process, right? This feels like where the magic or the breakdown happens.
It's definitely a critical step. Processing is all about making decisions, clarifying. For each item you pull out of your collection bucket, you ask 2 main questions. What is it? And crucially, what's the very next physical action?
The next physical action. He's very specific about that.
Very specific. And this is where his famous 2-minute rule comes into play.
Yes, the 2-minute rule. I've heard about this.
It's brilliant. If the next action takes 2 minutes or less, you just do it right then and there. Don't put it on a list, just do it.
Get it done.
Get it done. Alan says the 2-minute rule is magic. He tells this story about a VP who apparently gained an extra hour of quality time per day just by applying this rule consistently to his emails, cleared out hundreds faster.
An hour a day. Wow. Okay, that sounds amazing. But I bet some people hear 2-minute rule and think, but most of my stuff takes longer than 2 minutes.
Right, and that's a common misunderstanding. It's not that everything takes 2 minutes. It's if it takes 2 minutes or less, do it now. Get it off your plate, off your mind.
Okay, so what about the things that take longer?
Right. If it takes longer, you have other clear options. You either delegate it to someone else and then you track that on a waiting for list.
Oh, tracking delegated tasks.
Yeah.
Important.
Very. Or you defer the action. You decide what the next action is and you put it on a next actions list.
Okay.
And if no action is needed at all, well, then it's either trash.
Toss it.
Or it's reference material you might need later, so you file it somewhere easy to find. Or maybe it's an idea you're not ready to commit to yet, so it goes on a someday maybe list.
Someday maybe. I like that category.
Me too. The key thing about process is, as Alan says, process does not mean spend time on. It just means decide what the thing is and what action is required, and then dispatch it accordingly. Make the decision, move it out of in.
Decide and dispatch. Got it. Okay, so collect, then process. Next is organize. We've made decisions. Now where do all these reminders and lists go?
This is where having clear, distinct categories, what Alan calls hard edges, is absolute crucial. You need different buckets for different types of reminders.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, you need a projects list. A project is any outcome you want that requires more than one action step. So plan vacation is a project. Call travel agent is a next action.
Okay. That distinction is important.
Very. Then your calendar. Alan is adamant the calendar is only for things that have to happen on a specific day or at a specific time. Appointments, deadlines.
Not just a long to-do list for the day.
Absolutely not. He calls putting general to-dos on a calendar heresy to traditional time management. He says, trying to keep a list in writing on the calendar, which must then be rewritten on another day if items don't get done, is demoralizing and a waste of time.
Yeah, I can relate to that feeling. Rewriting the same task day after day.
Exactly. So instead of the calendar for general tasks, you use context-based next actions lists.
Context-based.
Yeah, lists based on where you need to be or what tool you need, like a list for at calls or at computer, about errands at home, maybe at agenda, boss for things you need to discuss with your boss.
Oh, I see. So when I'm at my computer, I look at the computer list when I'm out running errands.
You look at the errands list. It groups actions by what you can do right now, given your location and tools. It gives you freedom and makes choosing easier.
That makes a lot of sense.
Plus, you need those other lists we mentioned. The waiting for list, the someday maybe list, and critically, a really robust, easy-to-use reference filing system for all that non-actionable stuff you need to keep.
Okay, that's quite a system. Collect, process, organize. It sounds comprehensive. But how do you keep it all going? How do you prevent it from just becoming another overwhelming system that you eventually abandon? Because, that happens.
It absolutely does. And that's where the 4th stage review comes in, specifically the weekly review. Alan calls this the master key.
The master key to the whole system.
Yep. It's what maintains the integrity and, crucially, the trustworthiness of your entire setup. Once a week, you need to set aside some dedicated time.
How much time?
Alan suggests maybe 2 hours, could be Friday afternoon, Sunday evening, whatever works for you.
2 hours seems like a lot.
It can seem like it initially, but it pays off massively. During that review, you gather and process all the new stuff that's accumulated. You review all your lists, projects, next actions, waiting for someday maybe you update everything, check things off, add new actions.
So it's like a system reboot every week.
Exactly. The goal is to get completely clean, clear, current, and complete. It forces you to zoom out to get up to at least the 10,000-foot level, as he calls it, and catch up on everything. Because, as he says, your best thoughts about work won't happen while you're at work.
Interesting point. You need that detached perspective.
You really do. The weekly review is non-negotiable if you want the system to actually work long-term and keep your trust.
Okay, collect, process, organize, review. That brings us to the final stage.
Okay.
After all this setup, how does it actually help us make better choices about what we do in the moment? Because we always have more things we could do than we have time for, right?
Absolutely. And that's the whole point, really. The entire system's designed to free up your mind so you can make clear, intuitive, confident choices about what to do, and just as importantly, what not to do right now.
So it's not just about having lists, it's about using them intelligently.
Exactly. And Alan offers a few frameworks to help with that do decision. First, there's the 4 criteria model. When deciding what to do from your lists, you consider context, where am I, what tools do I have, time available, energy available, and then priority.
Context, time, energy, priority.
In that order. Generally, yes. Because if you don't have the right context, time, or energy, the priority doesn't matter. You can't do it anyway.
Makes sense. Okay, what else?
Then there's the 3-fold model for evaluating daily work. This helps you recognize what kind of work you're actually doing at any given moment. Are you doing predefined work, working off your lists? Are you doing work as it shows up, dealing with unexpected emails or calls? Or are you defining your work, processing your inbox, planning projects?
Recognizing those different modes.
Yeah, just being aware helps you manage your day better. And finally, for the bigger picture, there's the 6-level model for reviewing your own work. This gives you perspective ranging from the runway level, your current next actions, all the way up to 50,000 plus feet, which is about your life's purpose and principles.
Wow, from runway actions to life purpose. That's quite a range.
It is. But connecting those levels helps ensure your daily actions are aligned with your bigger goals. The system isn't just about managing tasks, it's about managing your focus and commitments effectively. Alan says that when you get good at this, at the black belt level, you can shift like lightning from one foot to the other and back again, handling surprises while staying focused.
Shifting like lightning. I like the sound of that. It sounds less rigid, more adaptable.
It is. It's about having a trusted system that allows you to be flexible and make conscious choices.
Okay, so those are the 5 steps. But Alan also talks about the deeper power behind these habits. Let's touch on the power of the collection habit. What's the benefit beyond just, having a tidy desk or inbox?
It's huge. It's deeply connected to your psychological well-being. Alan makes this really fascinating point. He says negative feelings like anxiety or guilt don't usually come from having too much to do. They come from breaking agreements with yourself.
Breaking agreements with yourself, like promises you make in your head.
Exactly. If you tell yourself, I really need to clean the garage, but you don't capture that thought, you don't define the next action, you don't schedule it, a part of your mind thinks you should be cleaning the garage 24/7. It creates this low-level stress.
I know that feeling.
Right. But by externalizing it, by capturing clean garage and processing it, you can make a conscious choice. You can decide to do it and put the next action on a list. You can decide not to do it right now and maybe put it on someday, maybe. Or you can just decide it's not important and delete it.
So you renegotiate the agreement.
Precisely. You renegotiate it consciously, and that brings immense relief. Alan says, it is the act of forgiveness that opens up the only possible way to think creatively about the future at all. He also uses this analogy. Not being aware of all you have to do is much like having a credit card for which you don't know the balance or the limit. It's a lot easier to be irresponsible. Capturing everything makes you responsible.
That's powerful. Okay, what about the power of the next action decision? Why is figuring out that very next physical step so critical?
Well, it tackles procrastination head-on. Alan asks this great question. Why do bright people procrastinate the most?
Interesting. Why?
He explains, it's partly because our nervous system can't easily tell the difference between a vividly imagined thought and reality. Think about imagining biting into a juicy lemon. You might actually start salivating, right?
Yeah, happens to me.
So, if you mentally picture a big, complex project like rate the big report, Your brain sort of experiences the entire complex thing at once. And if you haven't defined the very first simple physical next action like open Word document or email Susan for sales figures, it feels overwhelming. Your brain just sees this huge, scary thing.
And you freeze or avoid it.
Exactly. It remains an amorphous blob in your mind, leading to resistance, stress, paralysis. But if you break it down to that next physical step, like call Fred for the number of the garage, suddenly it's manageable. It's doable.
And it lowers the barrier to entry.
Massively. When asking what's the next action becomes a standard practice for yourself or even in a team culture, it forces clarity. It promotes accountability, productivity, and empowerment. It cuts through the fog. Mark Twain apparently said, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started." The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks and then starting on the first one.
Simple but profound. Okay, and the last one, the power of outcome focusing. What's that about?
This ties it all together, really. It's about continually asking yourself, what am I actually trying to achieve here? Defining and redefining your desired outcomes, from simple tasks all the way up to your life's purpose.
So always keeping the why in mind.
Exactly. A colleague of Alan's, Stephen Snyder, put it nicely. He said there are really only two problems in life. Number one, you know what you want and you don't know how to get it. And number two, you don't know what you want.
Simple when you put it like that.
Right. And the solutions. For number one, you make it happen. That's the next actions, the projects, the doing. For number two, you make it up. That's defining your vision, your purpose, your desired outcomes.
Make it up and make it happen.
That's the cycle. By consistently engaging with both clarifying outcomes and defining next actions, you become highly productive. You're making things up, goals, visions, and then you're making them happen, taking action. This process moves you from just hoping things will work out to trusting your ability to manage your commitments. And that, Alan says, leads to stress-free productivity.
Stress-free productivity. Sounds good.
There's a great quote from an old church in England around 1730. "A vision without a task is but a dream. A task without a vision is drudgery. A vision and a task is the hope of the world." Outcome focusing connects the vision and the task.
Vision and task. Okay, so wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you listening right now? I guess the core message from Getting Things Done is really about taking full conscious responsibility for everything that has your attention. It's about shifting from being reactive to being proactive. It's about designing these external systems that actually support how your mind works best, instead of trying to force your brain to be a leaky, chaotic storage unit. It's really a path from feeling overwhelmed to feeling empowered and clear.
Yeah, stepping back, the bigger picture here is about moving away from that constant firefighting crisis mode that so many of us live in,
Right.
and moving towards a new standard of high performance, both at work and in your personal life, a standard based on clarity, control, and focus. So the ultimate provocative thought maybe is this. What unresolved stuff is currently holding your mind hostage right now? And what's the very next tiny physical action you could take, maybe even right after listening to this, to start setting it free?
Indeed. Just take that one small step to find that next action and just see. Observe how much more relaxed, maybe more creative, and definitely more effective you can become. This has been Duo Reads, where we aim to decode deep ideas and break down big books one page at a time. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and maybe, just maybe, keep getting things done.